For many people, the COVID-19 pandemic has passed and is not given much thought or news coverage. Yet there's a growing number of people who have reported symptoms that have never left them. Many of them have had these symptoms for years. The Office of National Statistics estimates that over 2 million Britons have long COVID. You may have it, or you may know someone who is struggling with it. My name is Paul, and I've been debilitated by long COVID since January 22. In this podcast, I'm going to share my journey and things I've experienced along the way. My aim is not to give medical advice. I'm certainly not qualified to do that. But I've been gaslit, ridiculed and dismissed for my symptoms, and I know it can be a very lonely place to be. It's an invisible illness, and I just want people to know that they're not alone. Welcome to Life with Long COVID. It's great that you've managed to find this episode, whether you're a first timer or somebody who keeps returning. Welcome. Just to let you know, before we start, let's get the preamble over and done with. You can find the home of the podcast, if you like, with lifewithlongcovid.co.uk, and you can also subscribe to receive updates and podcast episodes and lots of things that I write about. If you subscribe there, you can choose to give a little bit of money every month to receive that, or you can get it completely free, because I don't want that to be a barrier to getting the content. And last but not least, you can buy my book, Life with Long COVID. Hilariously, it's also called Living with Long COVID if you do it in paperback version, because I had a foggy brain moment and called it something different. But if you go to Amazon and search for Paul Ian Clark, Life with Long COVID, you'll find it on there. And thank you to all those who have been buying the book. It's been fantastic. Only today some people bought it, so I really appreciate it, and it does support the work of this podcast. And the aim of the podcast is so that if you are suffering with symptoms, if you have a loved one who's suffering with symptoms, you don't feel alone with it all. And without further ado, I'd like to welcome my returning partner, my wife, my fellow podcaster, Rachel Clark, who is here to give the carer's perspective.
I am indeed.
She's also a therapist, a professional counsellor, so sometimes she brings in those kind of skill sets to it. I'm very foggy brain today, as you can see. So if I say stuff wrong, you're also here to correct me, Rachel.
Okay.
Today, I thought we would talk about mobility aids, because we seem to talk about mobility aids a lot on the podcast, but there's so many different experiences I have with them. And now that I'm probably 2 years in of having mobility aids, I can reflect a little bit more on what's worked for me and what hasn't.
Yeah. Because you can be a little bit gung-ho, can't you?
Gung-ho is the word.
I think once you...
I like that, gung-ho with my mobilities. What, we're driving them or buying them?
I think once you came to the decision that you were going to use mobility aids, I think you did lots of research, but then you were going to get a new gadget. It was like buying a new car.
Yeah, it was. Because it's something you can do as well. It's like something when you've got a chronic illness and there's nothing you can do about it. Anything like that you can do to help, it feels achievable. So it's that mixed with the promise of a new gadget.
Also, it's like tech. You drive it, don't you?
I do.
Yeah,
drive it.
Yeah.
So when I went through this wheelchair journey, the first wheelchair I got was a carbon fibre lightweight wheelchair.
Very useful. That
was brilliant. It's still got it. It's light. It folds up, and it's all these are electric, because I can't. With chronic fatigue, it'd be a real problem if I had to push it along myself with the wheels. I don't know what you would. Propel it. That's the word.
With your hands.
Yes, because I just wipe out my energy levels much quicker. So, I got this carbon fibre wheelchair which folds like a buggy, and it goes into the thing. There was issues with that. I don't know if you remember, Rachel, but it doesn't stop and start very easily. No. So there's one occasion, this is probably epitomises all that is an issue with that type of wheelchair. There was a group of young lads mucking around in front of us, and I kept stopping and starting, and they could see I was behind them with a wheelchair, but what they probably couldn't appreciate is that particular chair doesn't stop quickly, and when it does stop, it takes ages to get going again. So it's really annoying if someone just steps out in front of you, because everything stops, and then it feels like it takes a week to get going again. Anyway, this young lad jumped out in front of me for about the 5th time, and I wasn't reactive enough, and I ran straight into the back of him. I don't know if you remember that. And he was not happy about it because it hurts.
But he should have got out of the way, shouldn't he, really?
And I have to admit to feeling a little bit smug, because he kind of deserved it. But our teenage children weren't too impressed.
No, embarrassing.
And also, things like that, when they happen with mobility aids, shake you up, because you're already marking yourself out as somebody different. And you're already feeling inferior and different to everybody else. So when you're running into people and running into the back of people, it just makes you feel even more, vulnerable, if you like.
Yeah, definitely. And I wonder if, I was going to say that. Do you feel vulnerable because you already put, like you just said, you put yourself in a vulnerable place, but also you're like sort of marking yourself out, like you said, as a vulnerable person.
You are. So quite a few people are looking at you, and they might not be looking at you, but you do feel like they are. And some of a big thing that I use my chairs for is football away games. And so that very often you're in a train carriage or a tram full of people. Like literally full of people. We went to London, didn't we, not long ago? Again, there was one point on the tube or train then when people were just absolutely rammed and surrounding you. Now, at those points, I'm grateful to have a chair, because most people are standing. I do recognise that. But I feel utterly overwhelmed and vulnerable by that situation, even though I have my family around me. People are literally pushing in to your chair.
And I didn't like it because non-disabled people in the disabled chairs that can flip up, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, they do, don't
and
they?
you could have gone in that, but obviously it's hard to reverse into that space when there's like 30 people in a carriage.
And I'm taking up a double space then, because the chair's out and I'm in a chair.
Yeah.
So it didn't feel right to do that. But it is overwhelming. Funnily enough, the reverse of that is when I'm using my wheelchair, this thing with long COVID, which you'll recognise if you're listening, which completely, you just feel overwhelmed all the time easily, and you can't cope with more than one thing at a time. That's helped by being low down in a wheelchair. For some reason, I don't feel so overwhelmed in a wheelchair in normal situations, because part of it is that people often overlook you and they don't expect to contribute to things. So I think you feel like the pressure's off.
Yeah.
It works for you as well as against you.
I think that.
What about when I first started using that wheelchair and when people used to talk to you instead of me?
Gosh,
how weird was that?
Well, it was doubly weird because you used to be a vicar, so people used to ignore me and just talk to you.
It completely reversed all of a sudden. And they'd say to you, would your husband like to do this? And you're like, I don't know. Why don't you ask him?
Yeah.
I don't know why people do that. I think they just assume if you're in a wheelchair, you can't talk or think for yourself.
No. Or it's an awkwardness, or it's in case you have a learning disability as well and you're unable to comprehend. But I would say the majority of people in a wheelchair are quite capable of answering a question.
Yeah.
But people do that with old people as well, don't they? Go, hello, dear.
I think I used to.
And it's like,
probably.
Well, they're fine, aren't they? Unless they say they're not fine.
Yeah, exactly. They'll tell you. Like if you speak to somebody, their carer will tell you if they can't answer back.
Yeah.
But better to assume to treat them like a human being than not.
Always treat people as a human being.
So that's one of my other bugbears about being a wheelchair. Is the good and bad things about being invisible, they both exist at the same time. It's great for mental overload. You don't feel so pressurised into doing things, talking to people. The converse, though, is that people just don't recognise you as a person.
I feel like as a carer, I feel very brave because we were in Tottenham Court Road on the Elizabeth line, and there was a space where there was a disability space. It said like so when you got on and it was busy, there was another person in the wheelchair, so that made it even worse in a sense. But anyway, there was a big group of people on a hem do, and you could tell like they all were dressed up, and I said, I'm so sorry, but my husband needs to come through. He needs to be at the front of the line. And they all just moved. One lady was like talking to me, like feeling guilty, I think.
No, yeah,
yeah. And I was like, she's like, oh, I'm so sorry, we didn't notice. I said, no, I can see you having fun, as you should be. And she was like laughing and everything. But I think it made me brave. Like,
I think that's
really
that's
brave.
why you need someone with you. Like, you can do it all yourself. Like, there's been times when I've been with the kids and said to them, you know, watch this. It's like parting of the waves.
Yeah.
If you drive through the middle, people will naturally get out your way.
Yeah.
A, not to be run over, and B, to be respectful. But actually, sometimes I need a Rachel to say, excuse me, can everyone just come out the way, please?
Well, there is a thing in central London. You're not supposed to talk to anyone else.
It's considered not British.
And you don't want to look around.
No.
That's the central London thing, because there's so many people, I guess. And, yeah, I had to like draw their attention to you, saying this person's in a wheelchair. Clearly, they're supposed to be here, so get out of the way.
Absolutely.
And they were really respectful. But it's about, you still have to raise your voice, don't you?
Yeah. So I got as far as I could with the carbon fibre wheelchair. It's still good sometimes when I want a quick shop, but it's low down. It takes ages to start and stop, and it's not that comfortable, I have to say. It's just like a pushchair, really.
For long periods.
Yeah. So after that, I invested, or I was very fortunate to receive a grant that helped me with the vast majority of the purchase of the Wheel C2, which you can always look it up. I mean, I don't know. I can't recommend or not recommend it because this is just the first one I came across, but the wheelchairs are like the Apple products of the wheelchair world. They look really good and sleek.
Yeah.
And they've got lungs.
Yeah. And it is the coolest thing ever. Didn't you get your scooter before the Wheel C2?
I did. I'm going wheelchairs first.
Oh,
though.
okay.
Now, the Wheel C2 is an upgrade in unexpected ways as well as expected ways. To start with, it's much more powerful. It's got omnidirectional wheels, which means the wheels go left and right as well as front and back. It's a pretty amazing thing. The power means that I can stop on a dime, and when I've stopped, it doesn't take a week to get going again, which is fantastic. So that's like a new lease of life.
You can take it to really steep hills without worrying at all.
And we went on holiday, didn't we? And I think we said in one of the previous episodes, some really steep hills where we were, and it absolutely easily traversed those. Yeah. Well, I say easily. There were some hairy
moments. There was one hill it was just, yeah.
There's one hill I was going down and I was thinking, this is almost gliding downhill. It's so smooth. And I looked down and I literally was gliding. It was like gliding across the surface of the... Scary, yeah. Anyway, I styled it out like I normally do, and I didn't manage to fall out. The other unexpected benefit of the Wheel C2, and is what I would look for now in a wheelchair, is it sits on top of the battery and the motor and everything, and that means the wheelchair's higher, which means when I'm out with family and friends, you are almost at their level. Like the other wheelchair was so low down, you're constantly looking up, and it's a hassle to have a conversation with anybody. You have to be quite intentional, but with the wheel, all of a sudden I could stop, start, turn on a dime, and I could talk to people.
And actually, when you're at the football games, you're a little bit higher than us.
Yeah, I am actually, yeah. A bit more superior, Rachel.
And I think it's the comfort as well, isn't it? You always say right. Comfort.
It is. It's
for like sitting for a long time.
It's got like a memory foam bottom seat, bottom cushion and back, and it's really comfortable. I put a cushion in there sometimes, but actually the cushion makes it less comfortable for some reason because it's so comfortable anyway. And I like a blanket or something. I quite like that.
Yeah, especially now the winter's
like
coming.
Security and stuff. And it's been. I've often said that it's the most normal I've ever felt with that wheelchair. I can talk to people. There's not many manoeuvres I can't do. However, I've still had issues with it, particularly with people walking in front or running me off the road type. I'm not being dramatic. Like, for example, we went to, me and my son went to Manchester United to watch a game. Lucky enough to get tickets, to wheelchair tickets. But when you're coming out of there again, thousands of people surrounding you. And somebody just run me off the path. Like, literally, like, I was trying to avoid them and trying to stop at the same time, but they made it impossible. And I literally had to drop down the curb, and the curb was a big one.
Oh, gosh.
The wheelchair went slamming down. The wheel is so strong and upright, there's no way that's toppling, but it made an almighty bang. The guy legged it because I think he was embarrassed, but it's more about psychologically what it does. It really shook me up.
Yeah.
And I was all evening I was worried about having broken the wheelchair until I got back and studied it and made sure it was okay, because it's not cheap. You don't want to break those things.
No.
So that's just one example of even when you've got one of the best mobility aids ever, it's still an issue.
I would say we've got quite small cars. I would say storage and dismantling.
I was going to come on to that.
And
no, whereas the folding up one, carbon fibre, was great.
Just
the Will
it's like
C2,
it's like a buggy if you've got children and you just do it together and it's in the car. It's as light as a feather. Do you know what I mean? It's
whereas
so easy.
the C2 is like a small car. It's heavy.
Really
it comes in 4 sections, which makes it sound like it equally distributes the weight between 4 sections, but it doesn't. One of those sections is a basket, the other is a battery, which is not very weighty at all. There's
the
one
back,
of them.
Is it the back wheel?
It's the back wheel of the motor is like, it feels like you have to lift an enormous bag of groceries, heavy groceries, into the car, and it's unwieldy as well, isn't it?
And then you've got to pack it in a certain way. It's like packing for a holiday, you know, like when you're packing your suitcases and they've got to do a certain way in the boot. You've got a special system.
Yes, so you have to, because you don't fit it in.
And then you can't even get the kids to help you because they don't know the system.
No.
So if I'm not with you to help you,
it's hard and it's quite tiring, to be honest.
You're kind of like, I've got a wheelchair to stop me being tired, but then I'm getting tired by
lifting it in.
Assembling and then disassembling afterwards this wheelchair.
So this is the world of disability mobility aids. And if you're listening and you haven't got one yet, hopefully this is helpful in some ways towards your decision making. If you have got one, you may be thinking, oh yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about. I feel your pain. Nothing's perfect.
No, it might be that you've got a car big enough and what do they have to get the
hoist?
A hoist.
Yeah.
Sometimes people have hoists to get the wheelchair into their car, etc., or ramps.
And we haven't
got
got cars that could do that, but it is a bit of a faff to do that. Also, you have to attach it. You have to take time to. And this is the thing. We'll come on to scooter in a minute. But I get so fed up with using mobility aids.
Yeah.
Like I know it. They give me a new lease of life. It comes with an enormous caveat that I'm very grateful for having them. But boy, do I get fed up with the thing about I can't just get in a shop without packing the right mobility aid, hoisting it myself out the car. Maybe I need you with me. It's just the whole thing is tiring.
And I wonder if you have extra mental load because, say I'm at work and you're like, I'm going to Tesco. As simple as going to Tesco's, like, what do I do? Do I assemble the C2 or do I just
take the other one?
Do I jump on my scooter and what do I do? But then when I get to the shop, the other one might have been better to get. And
that mental load means that a simple trip to Tesco's to get a pint of milk,
and we live 4 minutes from Tesco's,
is a massive deal.
Yeah,
like it will dwell on my mind all morning.
Yeah,
and it will take me ages to actually do it. And then you might go in the day and think, and all I've actually realistically achieved is bought a pint of milk from Tesco's, which before would have taken me 10 minutes, but now takes me all day to worry about and get over it. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah,
but that's the reality.
And I could have. When on the way from work and I've had a full day at work, I'm just jumping into Co-op,
get one, come home.
But I understand it's for you. It's
I
really,
want to
really
be able to do it. I want to be able to do it, even though it's difficult. I want to be doing it. But there are times when I think I just can't be bothered with it all. Absolutely sick to it. Now the scooter I got something called an e-foldy scooter, and I got it again at a bit of a whim because I saw a Sky TV interview and the presenter had this mobility scooter that didn't look like a mobility scooter, and it folds up and goes in the boot of your car. It looked really cool, and I thought, I want one.
And I think for you, this was quite early on in your journey.
It was.
And no offence if you've got one, I've got to be a bit sensitive here, but you didn't want to look like an old person in a conventional scooter that you see more elderly people in.
No, I didn't. You're right.
You wanted it to look a little bit like a bike.
I'm a cool 50-year-old, you know.
You are
53-year-old.
Cool.
So, yeah, I didn't want to look like that, and that sounds terrible, but I didn't. I wanted part of feeling independent is not being kind of robbed of your identity as well.
That's true, because you're a middle-aged man. You're not an old man.
No. So I've got this scooter. It folds up. It's lightweight. It does everything I need it to do. Not very comfortable to sit in though. So it's okay for Tesco's. It's okay for shorter journeys. I can sit in it for longer, but compared to the Will C2, it's like sitting on a plastic garden chair as opposed to a sofa indoors. That's what I would say.
But what I will say is we've been to London both with the scooter and the Wheel C2.
Yeah.
And I would say the scooter was better because then, because I could, if we're going together, because the scooter can fold up and it's kind of like a suitcase, like you're going on holiday.
Clever, isn't it?
It's like a wheelie suitcase, but it's a lot heavier. So it's not that good for me, but I'm okay. And then it means you can sit in the disability chair much easier, especially if you've got your stick, like you need to sit there.
Yeah.
And I can just stand and hold the scooter, well, rather than you driving on to a tube train or the Elizabeth line.
On the Wheel C2.
And just sort of being in the middle, sort of feeling like you're in the way or something.
I think that's where we've got to, is the mobility scooter's best. But for anyone listening, you'll all have your individual use cases. And I strongly think that these mobility aids are ridiculously priced, right?
They really are.
The C2 is a lovely bit of technology. Why does it cost the price of a medium-sized hatchback?
Well, we've been so lucky we've been given the money for a lot of those.
But I feel it's an injustice that they are able to charge that much, because I don't think they cost as much as a medium hatchback to manufacture. And I may be wrong. But the fact is, you need more than one mobility aid if you're in this, because no one mobility aid, I think, will do everything.
To give you independence, and that's what you want. And to be honest, that's what society wants, for you to contribute to society. For instance, buying food from a shop is contributing to society, because you're helping someone keep someone in a job, and then you're giving manufacturers money, and you're giving Tesco's money, whatever, and you're contributing. But you can't contribute if you're you haven't got that independence. I understand that some people with long COVID do struggle to leave the house, and they're still worthwhile people, but the government give disability benefits so you contribute to society, but you need more than one. And how can you buy one when they're like £5,000 or
minimum, sometimes more than that?
That's so expensive.
Ridiculous amount of money. And of course, I did have a period of buying fancy walking sticks from different people because I wanted to be different. But I've lost 4 now so far, so I feel like those days are gone. Because you want to be marked out. You don't want to be marked out. You want to feel your age and your outlook, and I wasn't quite ready for. You
were sort of having it as a fashion item, and that's fine, isn't it?
But it's not if you keep losing them.
They're never quite expensive.
Yeah. So I suppose to finish this deep dive into mobility aids, which I hope it is useful for some people, I would say that whatever mobility aid you've got and you haven't got, you can always get more. Like, you'll always feel like there's something else out there that's for you. But at the end of the day, everyone's different, and you've got to go with whatever you think, and listen to things like this, read up as much as you can, and make sure that you cover as many bases as you can with that one aid.
Yeah, because some people aren't car drivers. Most people don't want to go to football matches every week.
No, and it's
so it's different for different people.
And emotionally, it's a dilemma. Like, I don't want to be using mobility aids, full stop.
Of course.
And I'm lucky to have them, and I'm annoyed with them at the same time. It all is true at the same time.
Can I just end with a little thing?
Go on.
I was talking to my dad today. My dad's 85 and my mum's 80. And they're very frail. I said to my dad drives and my mum doesn't. I said to my dad, you can get a blue badge.
Which for those not in the UK is like a parking permit for disabled people.
So you can go to a disabled spot. And he was like, but I'm not disabled. But it's like, he is really frail. And he's just had a heart attack as well. So he really should have one. And I said, but you can get it for your partner as well. Like, you can get it for my mum. So he was up for that, and he agreed to that.
But interestingly, for himself, he wouldn't consider it.
Yeah. So it's just the little things, and that reminded me of your first part of your journey, which was just to get the blue badge.
That was the first thing that dropped through the door.
Yeah.
And it was the first time an external organisation had said, "Yeah, we recognise that you need it, and here it is."
And I think a big thing of it is recognising, isn't it? Recognise what you need. So it's like thinking about your life. What do you need? What is your situation? How much can you afford? All those things.
And you feel like you need validation, but you don't. Like, nobody comes along and says, here's a disabled badge that you can wear now you're officially disabled. you have to go out and do the best you can and get the mobility aid you need.
Yeah, definitely. But
that you can afford.
definitely do it. Get some people around you. Look on forums, and maybe we can have a discussion on your page.
Yeah, absolutely. Visit lifelongcovid.co.uk. You can comment on this article. Let's get discussions going. Let's recommend some to each other, or think about maybe some other things that I haven't even thought of, which I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
I'm certainly not an expert at anything, but I hope by sharing experiences, it maybe has helped you in some way.
And I want to make it, before we end, I want to make a quick recommendation if you're on Instagram to look up Chronically Jenny, because she often looks at mobility aids, and she's brilliant, and she's had chronic illness for a long time, so it's a good one to look up. Very good.
She, in fact, every week she covers some kind of mobility aid, and I've got loads from that, and I've got one or two mobility aids in my house, which wouldn't have. Maybe we'll do an unwheeled version of this at some point, but yeah, probably her videos are better. So whatever you're doing this week, know that you are not on your own. And if you're wondering whether you should try mobility aids, but maybe you don't feel disabled enough, get out there anyway. Start exploring it. If you can't see properly, you need glasses, right? And it's absolutely no different. So take care, and hopefully we'll see each other on the next episode.